Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Meg Moonbeam and Redpill Rooster channels. We are here. It is verdict day of the P. Diddy trial, and I'm very happy to be here with you. Luke, oh my goodness, how are we feeling?
We are feeling a little on edge. I
Yeah.
think a little anxious, a little wow, a little wow, but also a little, not surprised at the same time. But you
Mhm.
know, uh, a bit of a gut punch, nonetheless. I think we were all hoping for this to go a different way.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to get into the P. Diddy verdict and all that jazz. And before we do, please remember, you guys, to like, share, and subscribe to our channels. I saw, Luke, that your Instagram is really blowing up. So congratulations on
It
that.
is. It is. Thank you. Yeah. I had a couple of videos that really went viral and the rest is history. So come
The
check it
rest is,
out.
yeah, awesome. And also, you can go check out Luke's new book, Confessions of a Conspiracy Theorist. Don't forget to take your red pills over on Amazon. I still need to leave a review. Sorry, Luke, I didn't leave a review yet, but I will do
Oh,
that.
good. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate
Now
that.
that the reviews are working now, right? People can leave reviews.
Yes. Yep. You can
Yeah.
leave reviews. So, everything is cleared up. The gods cleared the way for the reviews over there on Amazon.
The gods cleared the path.
Yeah.
Amazing. Perfect. So all your links are in the description box below, as well as my links for my astrology readings, workshops, socials, all that stuff. And I just want to mention in particular that in just less than 2 weeks, on Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to be hosting my astrocartography workshop part 2. I'm very, very excited to do it. And a lot of people have been very interested in this subject of locational astrology. So I did the part 1 a few weeks ago. And in this part 2, we're going to go even deeper into best places based on your personal astrocartography to live, work, travel, find love, find abundance, all those things. Sister Nobody says, looking forward to astrocartography part 2. Yes, I am as well. So, oh my God, Luke. So we haven't done a live in 2 weeks. You hold the fort. You held the fort here on our channels. You did an amazing job the past 2 weeks with your recap of week 7, week 8. When I was watching you, I was like, wow, he's like a professional. You are a professional.
Well, I learned from the best here. So,
Oh,
yeah, it went pretty well. All things considered, it went very smooth and there was a lot to dig into and especially last week there was, I was finding some extra juicy stuff that was
mhm,
really fun to, dig into and talk about. The Diddy docket was very interesting, so regardless of the fact that we've seen this verdict here today,
mhm.
this story is far from over, you know?
Yeah.
This was the only criminal case that was being brought by the government, but
Mhm.
the guy's facing 80 more civil suits. So,
Oh my God.
who knows what we're going to hear. Hey, we all kind of feel like I feel like, this is a bit of a gut punch here today, but,
Mhm.
I feel like, 2 weeks from now we could hear a whole 'nother story, like a whole new thing comes out, and right when Diddy's laying his head on his pillow, he finds out, "Oh, there's another problem that's coming right down the pipe." So, a bit of a disappointment here today. We'll see what the judge says if he actually gets to leave the court today, but, this song is far from over, so to speak.
I totally agree with you. And Leanne in the chat says, I feel like the book isn't closed on Diddy. Something else is unexpected will happen. Well, speaking of books and speaking of unexpected happenings, just a few days from now, on Monday, July 7th, Uranus is going to enter Gemini. I'm going to be doing a whole separate video on that. I've pre-recorded it, putting it out on my channel early next week, or actually this week. So stay tuned while I'm over in Alberta. Yeah, with Uranus going into Gemini, 0 degrees, this is very unexpected truths, information, very quickly coming out with Uranus in a sextile to Pluto retrograde, which, let's remember, you guys, this trial technically started on May 5th. Wait, let me bring up the chart quickly. 1 second. The trial officially started May 5th at 9 a.m. when they started putting the jury together and doing the jury deliberations. And this was just mere hours after Pluto went retrograde. So this whole trial, and the chart of the trial, is under Pluto, the planet of secrets, the dark side of life, true crime, Diddy, because he's a Scorpio, retrograde. So this is, the truths are going to come out no matter what, even though we've had, as you said, Luke, the verdict, not what, a lot of us wanted to hear. So let's kind of break that down for people who maybe haven't heard about that yet. Diddy was found not guilty on all of the most serious charges. So not guilty on count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty on count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, found guilty on count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution, not guilty on count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and guilty again on count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution. And the sex trafficking was related to Cassie Ventura. The transportation for prostitution was in regards to Ventura and others as well. The other sex trafficking charge was in regards to Jane. We don't know fully who she is, but we were kind of hypothesizing that might be 50 Cent's baby mama. Mm-hmm. But interesting, he was found guilty on something having to do with both Ventura and Jane. So even though it's not the most intense charges, he has been found guilty on 2 counts. Gemma says, totally paid off on the non-guilts. Yes, there's definitely something funky going on. What's your, before we get into cards, before we get into astrology, before we play any clips and kind of analyze all that stuff, what's your gut level feeling on this, Luke?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of not surprised. I did think that he was going to go down for the prostitution. They laid that out. You couldn't deny that. I mean, other than saying, oh yeah, we paid for their time, but it was very clear what they were there for based on text messages, etc. But the other counts, I mean, the racketeering, the sex trafficking by force, my gut instinct was, one, when it came to the racketeering, they didn't bring any finances into the picture. So there was no money brought into the discussion ever for the prosecution, really. I mean, to me, in order to really bring home that charge, they needed to get into finances. There needed to be proof that, this guy was profiting from these things in some way. And then the big drawback for, I think, both of the sex trafficking charges was that, both of these women had sent text messages, saying that they loved him and, that they were having a good time and that they were essentially saying, hey, yeah, I want to do this again, and I just think that in the world that we live in, when you see something like that and you've got a guy as big as Puff Daddy sitting on trial, the guy's got a ton of fans out there, whether they're NPCs or, they are just diehard celebrity people. I just think you're fighting an uphill battle that you really need to have such insurmountable evidence that, for the guy to be put away. I mean, look at what happened with OJ. I mean, I go back to that. The guy, killed 2 people, his wife being one of them, and still got away with murder. So, I thought that was a stretch with what they presented. So not really surprised, but again, disappointed because I was, throughout the course of this trial, as we were doing this week by week, I was really hoping that
Yeah.
things were going to go in our direction. And I kind of started to like have a little bit of that hopium, like, oh yeah, maybe they will get him. I really started to, listen to Nancy Grace too much, probably, was, by the end, we're seeing the result here. So yeah, not a big surprise, but I don't think the fat lady has sung, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. I also feel not totally surprised, also based on the astrology, but also really not surprised that he did get found guilty of something. Okay. And his career is completely tarnished and ruined and will never be the same again, with him having, Pluto in square to Saturn right now, which isn't going to be exact actually until next year. So I'd love if we can do some cards on, looking, we have some questions for the cards. I'd love to look at, Diddy for the next month, Diddy also for the next year. I definitely feel intuitively and astrologically, this is not over for him. So whether he gets let off today and can actually walk free and on bail or not, I would personally be surprised if he did get let off. We'll see, because Pluto square Saturn is a pretty intense thing to have, among other things. But this is not over whatsoever. And I definitely think with the jury, we looked one of the weeks, Luke, at the chart here of the jury, okay, which there have been some issues over the week, some little minor issues. Nothing has been revealed to the public, and let me know if I'm wrong, because I was in the wilderness and I watched your recent great live stream that you did on Sunday. But from what I've seen, this jury that has, Scorpio moon at a Scorpio degree, there hasn't been anything too creepy or intense that's come up, right? And in this mundane astrology chart of the jury, which was selected and they got sworn in on May 12th, 9:35 a.m. Eastern in New York, the energy of it is pure Scorpio.
Mm.
So this is dark. This
Mm-hmm.
is secrets. This is hidden. This is crime. So I don't mean to disrespect the jury, but I think there's something very dark going on with the jury. Some of them may have been paid off. Some of them may have been threatened. Scorpio, their lives may have been threatened to where they got scared. Maybe they were scared. Maybe that's also something we can pull cards on too.
Yeah.
Like, were they necessarily, actually threatened by someone associated with Diddy, or were they just fucking scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very powerful person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we take a listen? Anything you want to say to that before we check out Lauren Conlon's video she just put out?
Well, speaking of scary, let me just share this picture with you really quick. So, Diddy's family's all happy and excited. Dad's out of jail. Wow. Look at Dad's son. That dude, that is a scary looking dude right there.
That's
like
very scary looking dude.
Right? I mean, it's almost like looking at a toddler who's being held by the hand. Mom's got to walk him through the public. Can't let him be off on his own. We don't know what he's going to do all by himself. Better hold his hand, Yeah, I mean, the look in those eyes, like you say, the eyes are the window of the soul. And I don't get a very good vibe from those eyes. For that window doesn't look like I want to go inside the house.
I don't want to jump in that window.
Definitely not.
That's honestly freaking scary. That guy is one of the scariest looking people ever. Sister Nobody says psychopath. Totally.
That's the vibe. That is totally the vibe.
That is the vibe. Oh my God, that is freaking wild. Gemma says his eyes are disastrous.
Yeah.
LOL.
He looks like he's about to go and, have his own freak off right now. And it's going to be, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So creepy. So we've had Lauren Conlon, a journalist, has been at the Diddy trial, I think almost every single day. And she just put this video out a couple hours ago. Diddy verdict details. So let's take a little listen at what she has to say here.
All right, it was day 3 of deliberations, and that is a wrap. I mean, what a morning. Sean Combs found not guilty on racketeering and sex trafficking, the most serious charges that he was charged with. He was found guilty on the 2 Mann Act violations. And man, I mean, I think we all expected a verdict today, but not 52 minutes after the jury walked in. So yeah, at 9:52, the deputy clerk announced that the jury sent a note back that they had a verdict, and the mood in the courtroom completely changed. A little bit before 9 a.m., Diddy and some of his family actually prayed together in the courtroom, and it was just really, really somber. And then as soon as they announced that the note was in, even the press was like, oh, and everybody was kind of just, like, what is going to happen? So once the 4-person read not guilty on racketeering, gasps, shock, I mean, excitement, obviously, from his family. And then when it was not guilty on the trafficking of Cassie, it was like, whoa. And that was that. I think we knew right then and there that he would be acquitted on again, the most serious charges. Diddy had his head in his hands. He was clasping Tenny Garagos's hands. They were holding hands. He turned around to his family. Oh, he thanked the jury. He put his hands together to thank the jury. And then Mark Agnifilo stood up and said that he's like, Your Honor, my client has been acquitted on the most serious of charges. He should go home. He should be released on $1 million bail, and he should go home to 2-Star Island. He should be allowed to go back and forth between LA, New York, and Miami. Ankle monitor. His plane is in Maui. They said they have his passports. And Maureen Comey stood up and she's like, whoa. No, he shouldn't. And yeah, it was very clear that she wasn't really taking this as a loss. She said, Your Honor, this is a serious conviction, especially with she said the conduct around it. And she said, the conduct around this conviction is drug use and violence. And then Mark Agnifilo was like, no, he was acquitted on that. And then Maureen Comey indicated that she would be seeking probably a maximum sentence. And she actually mentioned 20 years, which really, I think, brought Diddy's mood down. I mean, look, 20, he's not getting 20 years. I mean, I had speculated that maybe he would get 2 years with time served, but who knows? I mean, we don't know when sentencing is going to be, but the defense and the government both have until this afternoon to give the judge motions on whether they think he should be released. Obviously, the defense will say he should be released because of XYZ. The government will say, no. And then the judge will most likely make a decision today. So I guess, yeah, we'll see if he will be released while he awaits sentencing. I have a feeling that he might be released just to 2-Star Island, maybe not allowed to go back and forth, but it has been a scene outside of the courthouse, let me tell you. I mean, there was somebody, they were pouring baby oil all over people. It was crazy. I got a video of this guy. He's really funny, but he made a video about the baby oil and the Astroglide, and he actually said, if it don't slip, you must acquit. I was like,
oh my God. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, the society, the culture we live in now.
The culture we live in. And yes, Yvonne, I was just about to say the same thing. Alligator Alcatraz for him. Literally, send him on down.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of crazies outside the courtroom, okay, what the hell? This is the Diddy supporters outside the courtroom right now.
You're fucking red! What the fuck? Y'all are fucking wildin'! Armand! Look!
Oh my God. I don't understand how people are this excited. Like,
I know.
you're so pumped that Diddy got acquitted, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
for the bigger charges, like
Yeah. Rubbing baby oil on themselves and partying after the verdict was announced. The energy was wild, raw, and completely unapologetic. Yeah, that is sick. There's no denying that. Unless this whole thing is a hoax, okay, which let's be honest, I'm in a space, Luke, and let me know what you think. I'm just trying to be as open as possible to any possibility because we've been lied to so much about everything. But unless this whole freaking thing was a hoax, unless all the witnesses, the victims, and there's many, as you shared in your Sunday show, there's what, over 90 cases against Diddy at the moment, other than this one, civil cases?
There was 97, and 17 of those are closed. So I thought that was curious. But there's still 80 open.
Right. So unless there's just a whole bunch of liars or this is a part of the movie, it's looking like he is really dark. He did do these things. He is an abuser. He is a psychopath. We have the video of him beating the shit out of Cassie, which I don't want to share here because that's very trigger warning. If you haven't seen that, you can look that up. But to think that they're celebrating this,
I know. It's just it lacks such an awareness. Like, it's almost like you have no idea how you look,
right,
to other people. Like, I'm embarrassed for you. You know what I mean? Like, you just have no idea, no class, no taste. And these are the type of people I wonder, are these NPCs?
Right.
Like, who are you? Where did you come from?
Yeah.
How do you not have anything better to do than be celebrating that an abuser got acquitted? Yeah. It's like, is Diddy that important to you? Do you love him that much?
Yeah. Can we maybe pull some cards on, is this spectacle even real? Are these actors or are these real people that are genuinely having that reaction?
Yeah.
So I guess we can ask, is there truth to how this is being portrayed? Is it true that they are genuinely celebrating the release of Diddy and they're happy about it?
Yeah. I'll ask if these people are actors.
Okay.
Planted there by Diddy or somebody.
Okay. Interesting. Do you want to share first or?
Sure. So I got the judgment card upside down right out of the gate. So these people are celebrating a judgment in the wrong direction, right? They're sort of like, imagine that, imagine this right side up is almost heavenly, right? In reverse, I'm getting the sense of like demons from hell. Right? So people who are twisted in themselves, and Three of Swords reversed. So people who are just, all torn up themselves, but they're so, it's like dealing with somebody who is so mentally like disturbed that they don't even know that they're mentally disturbed anymore. Right? They've gone so far that they think that this is normal and everything was upside down. So, this right side up is like, oh, this is like secrets. This is like, information. Swords are words and information that are being suppressed. But if you look at it this way, look at that. It's like these people are about to fall on a bunch of swords. And And so that was actually the feeling that I was getting here, before we even pulled the cards, is that somebody had written, plot twist. I think there is a plot twist coming. And it's like that point in the movie where you think the bad guys got away with it, or
Mhm.
the bad guys think they got away with it, and they're cheering and they're relishing in their momentary victory. But
Mhm.
some information's about to come right around the corner that's going to have all of these people that are in the streets making themselves look like fools right now
Oh my God.
falling on swords. And they're going to be trying to go online, if they have the technical ability, which they probably don't, to
Mhm.
delete these videos and try and make themselves not look like the people that they look like right now.
Right. Holy guacamole. Yeah. Interesting. So I'm getting similar here. I'm getting cards across the board that, yeah, these are real reactions of people. Interesting. The Six of Pentacles, which is a card very much about giving and receiving energy. And this is making me feel like it's almost like a ritual of people that are NPCs or people that are under this kind of demonic weird frequency are just like zombies attracted to the courthouse. It's like it's actually giving them energy, the drama and the darkness
Mm-hmm.
of.
Mm-hmm.
And right before we went live, Luke and I were talking about how we both felt like kind of a creepy feeling in the air right now with this trial. So there's like darker energies, like yeah, this is what we want. Woohoo, we
Yeah.
can get off with getting away with it. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
actually a dark ritual going on. But interesting, two queens with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups, with also the Two of Wands. I feel like this is going to get what you said, Luke, revealed. This energy of, oh yeah, we got away with it. Interesting that right away I wanted to just say intuitively, like, this is only going to last one day for some reason.
Right. It might be like that quick.
It feels like it's actually really quick. Yeah, it feels like it's really quick. And interesting that there's two queens, women, feminines. Maybe there's going to be women, new women go, wait. I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to be a part of this. And I thought he would get locked up. But you know what? Let me give you the receipts. Let me share with you actually the real truth. I feel like there might be even more women coming forward. And we do have a justice card, Two of Wands. So yeah, I feel like this is, and Two Wands, there's still quick movement to this. This isn't like over and we're all going to cry. And no.
Yeah.
Laura says loosh fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are the people that are have all been spell cast. They don't even realize that they're essentially spellbound. They don't know that they've been programmed by dark ritual magic, and the fact that they're like getting off on this and celebrating it is they're like under a spell, these people.
Yeah, they are. Definitely. That makes me, okay, that's interesting too, because that makes me want to ask, do you want to ask, is there going to be any point soon where this spell for the normies is really going to be broken, or are we still in this for a little bit of a long haul here? Because starting on Monday, I said this in my live video horoscope yesterday, all outer planets, once Uranus goes into Gemini, are in air and fire signs. And we're stepping totally into a new energy. We're out of Pluto and Capricorn. We're out of Neptune and Saturn and Pisces. We've been in the mud years and years and years of having to deal with, the mainstream normie narrative. And it's just slowly people waking up to energetically, things are going to change very fast. So,
yeah, I think that's a great question.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're asking, are the normies going to be broken out of their spell anytime soon?
Like what's a month? Yeah, like what's a month or a season? If so, as
Okay.
a potential that this might happen coming up. Let's see. Oh. Wow. So I guess I'll start here. This makes a lot of sense. So I'm starting off with the Five of Wands, which is a big conflict card. And that is wild, you guys, because we're going to be entering Leo season. And this card is related to the sign of Leo because it's very dramatic. Leo in its dark side can be dramatic. So this Leo season starting on, I think it's July 22nd. Could be a potential. We're also going to have a very big new moon in Leo that I'll share with you guys later. I think there's going to be huge revealings having to do with celebrities, and is also part of the astrological reason why I don't see this like by the end of this month. I think there's even more developments with this for sure. So I'm getting possibly Leo season, new moon in Leo, and also the star card, which is associated with Aquarius. We're going to have a full moon in Aquarius on, what day is that? August 17th. I might be wrong about that. Some point in August, the full moon in Aquarius. So those are actually two cards, Luke, indicating some time frame soon. That could be coming.
Mine's very soon. So
wow.
Mine indicates that they're already, they've been taking their lumps here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They've been getting beat over their head, and they've been keeping it to themselves, right? They're trying to pull the ostrich. They're trying to head in the sand, right? They are trying to ignore this stuff, but it's like every time they stick their head in the sand, they hit a rock.
Yeah.
And so it's not working, but something is coming up in the financial system. So this card, very, right side up and well aspected, very beneficial. Very beneficial. The 10 of Pentacles, this is abundance, but in reverse and poorly aspected, I think we're going to see a huge financial event this month. And I am saying this month because I got the Chariot upright, Fast and Furious, number 7. We're in the 7th month. So I think that this financial event that's coming is going to be the thing that rushes in past these guys. It's like, imagine this guy standing on the side of the road, just sitting there trying to figure out, how the hell do I get these sticks to stay up? Or how do I now build a house out of these sticks, these wands here? He's beaten down, and all of a sudden, you've got somebody like Trump riding by on his chariot, full steam ahead, and just zooming right past, right? Not caring for a second what's going on with the guy on the side of the road, right? This guy is just kind of going to watch them pass by, and whatever's happened is going to happen fast and furious. I think it's coming this month.
Wow. Well, I am going to say I agree. And I think we're going to see some pretty cool memes coming up soon of Diddy in alligator Alcatraz. I just tried to find some online, none yet, but maybe I'll try to do that when we're done our live today, Luke. Do some meme making of Diddy with the alligators in the Everglades. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Oh my God. And interesting, we've already got what's this guy's name? Having a brain. Big Homie, former bodyguard of Diddy, was just on Piers Morgan. I guess this was today or yesterday. Kind of freaked out for his life now, but saying he's also looking forward to Diddy being released. So this is kind of a weird clip. He does speak in riddles. So just want to share this with you guys.
If he doesn't, would you already fear about reprisals against you just for speaking out, would you be genuinely concerned about him coming after you? Is that one of the reasons you've left the country?
Well, here's the thing, you know, only thing I fear is God and my mom. And I made a promise to my mom that I'm not gonna revert to an old lifestyle. And I know if he walks, you know, I'm gonna be target number one, which is fine. I'm used to that. You know, it's kind of exciting for me.
Is that exciting or is that slightly scary?
Oh no, it's definitely exciting, Pierce.
Really?
Yeah.
So explain that, because in my world, I wouldn't find that exciting.
Well, we come from different professions.
Yes.
In my profession, you know, it's what we live for.
Well, being someone's number one target.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy must be like a Scorpio or an Aries or something.
Totally. Totally.
Oh
Wow.
my God. Oh my God. Luke, and I want to know if you have questions for the cards, but could we maybe also ask, are we going to see anybody associated with this trial dead within the next few months? I'm going to say, or no, by the end of the year.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to ask
Let's
that?
ask.
Or is that
Yeah.
freaky?
That's that. Hey, let's ask. It's
Let's
dark, but
ask.
it's we're not asking it with dark intentions.
No, we're not calling in anybody's death. And of course, there's infinite potentials. Like, what are we looking at here potential wise on our current timeline of could anybody be killed associated with this trial? We know about the Clinton body count.
Mm-hmm. I might do a longer pull on this one.
Okay. I feel there's actually a lot of protection around the people from what I'm getting. The Magician card, which I got yesterday. So that's a very empowered card of being, taking charge of your reality. Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. Money. Maybe people very associated with it are actually being protected by more powerful people behind the scenes.
Mm.
Yeah, all those cards have pentacles in it. So something related to money, but no nasties.
Yeah, I got the same. So in the background, we've got that they've moved out of troubled waters here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually got two big aces. Let me just see if I can hold this up like how it's presented.
Mm-hmm.
I got two big aces on either side of these people. So just like you're saying, protected by very powerful sources here.
Mm-hmm.
So all benevolent here, everything good. And then in the future, I just think it's really bad for Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
We got the tower, we got the strength card reversed, and we've got the secrets, the high priestess. So, you know, I think more secrets are going to be coming out, and I think that it will be the future secrets are going to be child related. This was the preamble, is what I'm getting. They didn't dig into this yet, because I'm getting that, you know, they focus so much on the character of him this time so that everyone could hear, like, he's abusive, he's, you know, manipulative, he hurts these women, and, you know, we could really start to get a sense of like who this guy is without it being so jarring, so horribly shocking, that when they actually do start to talk about that, people are going to be like, well, that kind of fits the bill then, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Totally agree. Bree in the chat says, Meg, I'm sick of hearing movie. We have been lied to all our lives. Small business like mine are suffering so bad. This needs to end. We need good. I can't afford a reading. I'd love to know my outlook. Well, Bree, I'm sending lots of love your way. And maybe at the end of the show, Luke, we can do a little reading for us as a community dealing with all this information all the time, like what the universe wants us to know. So Bree will definitely maybe do that for all of us. Yeah, it's frustrating. And I hear your guys' frustrations because like you said, Luke, it's like, it can be a little bit of a gut punch when things are so obvious and there is so much darkness. But we have to remember, you guys, and I'm getting chills as I say this, you know, I believe, and I don't know what you guys think, but I really believe that we are here on assignment right now. We're literally here on a job as light workers and empaths and starseeds. We're here to hold the line for Mother Earth and humanity. And this is not an easy job to do. This is not an overnight job. Yes, we are entering times energetically, astrologically, where things are going to start moving faster and it's not going to be as slow anymore. But when it comes to mind control and can I say MK Ultra on YouTube? Whatever, I just said that. It has to be layers peeled off, like you're saying, Luke. It can't just be all at the same time we have this trial and we're talking about the kids and we're talking about the Aminamome and we're talking about all this at once. People would literally have a full-on mental breakdown en masse.
Yeah.
Right. And I know many of us, I know I definitely had. Sister Nobody says this is our contract, Meg. Yeah, I've had several kind of breakdowns through this waking up process, but I wasn't going through that with like hundreds of millions of people at the same time. It would be too much. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's catastrophic disclosure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only handle so much of this at once. And, anybody that has gone as far as everybody that is here in this community that's listening to this, following Diddy, listening to us talk about tarot and astrology and, having this discussion where we're all, I feel that we're all on the same page. I mean, Meg can say Aminamome and everybody here knows what that means, right? It's like tempering clay. When you put a clay pot into a kiln, you can't just leave it in there because it cracks. It's catastrophic disclosure. It's catastrophic change. It's catastrophic heat. So you've got to pop it in there and pull it out and pop it in there and pull it out. And that's what we've all been going through for the last 5 years. And I really would love to interview some normies, quite frankly, just to see what they're going through and what they're feeling. Because we've been on this path for so long. I mean, I agree. Somebody here said that, this is a contract. We all agreed to come and do this. And, whether that was, I think that it was, previous to us coming to this planet, but then we all made a conscious decision too, that we were going to do something to further this truth and further the movement so that we can all break out of this matrix and break out of this system. But I'm right there. I feel it. I feel what she's saying. Seeing something like this today is the gut punch of like, damn it. Like these fuckers always get away with it. Right.
Yes.
And that's the feeling is like, and it sends you down this path of like, is it really going to change? Is anything really ever going to come to fruition? Or are we all just sitting over here smoking our hopium? Like, hey, let's look at our Q posts and we've got the deltas, it makes you feel like a nutcase. Like,
yes.
I'm going to stop rambling, but I think what I'm saying there, right?
Yeah. No, it's a very valid rambling and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's healthy for us to be able to look at ourselves objectively and go, are we fucking crazy right now? Like, are we the crazy ones right now? Right. But then, and then reviewing the facts and go, okay, wait a second. And then just remind yourself what I like to do when I have those moments. And sometimes I have those moments where I'm like, am I fucking like totally nuts right now? Okay, wait, let me go back. Let me go back to the beginning of my wake up. Okay, what was it that woke me up? Okay, where did I get that information? What was it? How did I corroborate? I go thing through thing like, okay, no, that was fake. That was fake. The whole history was fake. So yeah, this is, Sister Nobody. It's frustrating, but I gotta hang on. And also, you guys, why would there be so many of us alive at the same time right now feeling the exact same thing? I like to remind myself of that. There's so many of us right now that are waking up, that are into the truther movement, that are getting even more into freedom, right? That are seeing through the matrix. Why would we all be here right now at the same time if there wasn't going to be justice? I think they're definitely it.
And also, let's just look back. I had to remind myself of this just the other day is, how long has Trump been in office? And what has happened? So we're going into month 6. On July 20th, it will be month 6, full 6 months. And think about how much information has started coming out, right? And in order for them to really start to take action, right? Again, they can't just come in and bash the normies over the head with a big, ace of wands and leave them on the side of the road like that dude. I mean, they're taking their lumps, but I mean, there's a difference between, bopping somebody over the head and waking them up and then bludgeoning them to death, right? And with everything that we know is going on that is out there, releasing all of that in 6 months would be bludgeoning them to death. It would be catastrophic disclosure. We've got to get them to the point where it's like, oh, wow, I guess this is like a thing. Like, I guess these celebrities like get together and like screw each other's wives and, I guess, he'll like date somebody and, have a prostitute come and have sex with her. Like, you got like, it's like ridiculous and weird as it sounds. They have to start to be introduced to these concepts that are so kind of fringe and obscure, and they've got to become normalized in a discussion setting that you can have a deeper conversation. Because look, I mean, there's a reason why in my book, I don't go to a minimum in the beginning. It's the whole point of the book, but you can't introduce that concept to somebody without there being so much other information and other baby steps for them to be open to that idea and concept. So, I think that we've been seeing the groundwork laid here, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next 6 months. How are things going to change? I do think July is going to be a pivotal month. We all know that there's been something looming in the background of the finance world. And look, I mean, like the normies, they want to stick their head in the sand. They're being the ostrich, right? They don't want to pay attention to this stuff. Think about how long that they've been alive and living and thinking, you know what? Like all of this stuff just goes away anyway. Like eventually, like, you know what? I can ignore that because it's going to go away anyway. It's not a big deal. But now they're trying to do that, and they keep hitting their head on the rock as they stick it in the sand. And as they move forward, they're not going to be able to stick their head in the sand anymore. They're just going to have to pay attention, especially when the financial thing happens. It's going to hit their pocketbook. And that's when they're going to be like, holy shit. What just happened? I'm scared.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I totally agree. Jenny says July is for sure going to be popping. Yep, Uranus and Gemini, full moon in Capricorn. You know, our last full moon in Capricorn was the day Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race, right? Myself, I predicted that to the day. I don't know if you guys remember that. We also had later on in the month the assassination on President Trump. So it's interesting. July is this month. Last year, we had a lot of shit happen in July. That was kind of the craziest month when you think about it. And now this year, July, and interesting that it's seventh month where all this crazy stuff is happening and probably is going to be happening as well, for sure. So full moon in Capricorn, new moon in Leo in exact opposition to Pluto, you guys. So that I want you guys to be really mindful. I'll just bring that up here. Really actually careful on this new moon in Leo, because new moon in Leo, right? Drama, conflict and its shadow aspects, celebrities, politicians, prominent people, royalty at 2 degrees, which in Nicholas Stojanovich's degree theory is the supreme degree. It's a Taurus degree, to be the best of. So it's right off the bat highlighting people in a very powerful position in an exact opposition to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So this is huge revealings. And look, Saturn Neptune conjunction. I mean, this month with this Saturn Neptune conjunction, almost exact. It's not going to be exact until February 19th, 2026. But July and August in the background, we've got these 2 outer planets conjunct in the beginning degrees of Aries. We haven't had this since very ancient times. The whole matrix is being dissolved and dismantled. Celebrity culture is being dissolved and dismantled and exposed. And it's definitely frustrating because we want it. Those of us who know the information, we want the justice. We want it to happen right now, but it has to happen piece by piece. And I'm also hearing Spirit say it would be way too destabilizing if it was actually every famous person from every aspect. So, you know, if it was all the celebrities from entertainment, plus Fauci from the health side of things, plus the Clintons. If it was every aspect, it would be way too much. So it's interesting. I'm feeling it's going to be aspect by aspect by aspect, you know, celebrities, royalty, politicians, health crimes, you know, all that kind of stuff. So be mentally prepared, you guys. This is going to be wild. Jenny says, oh my God, what a solar return for this year. This chart, oh my God, yeah, if your birthday's July 24th or the days surrounding that, you're in for very, very intense year, that's for sure. But the malefic transits, they're always, you know, if you've been a bad boy or bad girl, as I like to say, you're going to get your ass kicked by Pluto and Saturn. But if you've been good, it is going to be intense, but it's not going to be like, you know, the worst thing ever. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there. I forgot why I even started talking there, but just feeling that.
Go ahead. No, sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes there.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add that, you know, RFK, and I don't know who he was partnered with, but that video just came out where the biggest medical fraud bust in history, over 300 people are going to be arrested. Hey, did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, you were on vacation. So, or well, I mean, on a retreat.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah, we got to pull this up. So
what?
Yeah, they announced the largest medical fraud bust in history. RFK was part of it. I don't remember what the name of the guy was who basically spoke here. I've got it pulled up. Give me a second here.
Oh my gosh.
It's huge. This is going to be huge, guys. This is, you know, it's not Obama yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order for us to get there and people not lose their minds, we got to go through the small steps here. So
right. Let me take my thing off there.
I'm just going to pull this one up. I think this is going to be it. It looks like it. So I'm going to
charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately $14.6 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. In a takedown this large, I can't possibly describe all of the work that went into dismantling each scheme. We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes.
He goes on. So it's doctors, it's nurses, it's I can see if I can find another one, but yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, Joe Blow who lied on his taxes about, you know, how much money he makes and got $200,000 of medical expenses or something like that. No, that's a big deal. So, you know, we've got that happening, and I do think that we're on the cusp. That big beautiful bill is going to allow the world to reset. So I think personally that we're on the verge of a global revaluation. So we are going to see currencies completely shift. You know, there's a reason that all of these states have been saying gold and silver can be legal tender now, you know, and that you can use these in everyday transactions. And, you know, if you look at countries out there like Vietnam and Iraq, and you look at what their money is worth compared to the dollar, I mean, it's asinine. You know, they've got to use bills that are 50,000, you know, dinar or like $500,000 dong. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so Trump, I think he truly is not just here to make America great again, but what he is doing is going to make the world great again. And the big beautiful bill, as much as there is a couple of things in there that I'm really leery about, or in particular when it comes to AI, you know, I think that there is something in the big beautiful bill that is a trigger component for a global reset to happen in the financial currency system, where all of a sudden we are going to be completely moved away from this debt slavery system that has been pushed on us by the Federal Reserve, and we're going to become sovereign, guys. It's going to be totally different. We're going to feel totally different once we no longer have to pay for our money to a completely private corporation.
Definitely. We should maybe do another video if you want to, Luke, sometime with you and Steve again to rehash the whole
American State Nationals.
American State National piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love that.
Because I feel like that's extremely, extremely important. I also want to bring up the USA solar return. So happy Independence Day. Happy almost Independence Day to, I'm Canadian, Luke's American, to all our American friends and family out there. So this solar return is the birthday chart for the US from July 4th, 2025 to July 4th, 2026. And it totally is in alignment with what you're saying, Luke. We've got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the USA's second house. So the dissolving Neptune of the structure, Saturn, of second house of Taurus, money and currency and values and physical resources, with a very strong, interesting, the last solar return for the US, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm remembering this correct, it had an 8th house stellium with a Scorpio rising. So there was a very strong Scorpio influence. And what did we see? We saw, major secrets being revealed continuously. I mean, just thing after thing after thing. The power structure changed, the political party changed. Scorpio can have to do with politics. A president stepped down. And we've got a very strong Scorpio influence still. And Scorpio, opposite sign of Taurus, is hidden money, right? Taurus is the currency, the coins, the cash, how you make your money day to day, your day-to-day income, the physical resources we can see. And then Scorpio is the hidden money, what's going on behind the scenes, the investments, the investment markets, different kind of currencies, what's going on, inheritances, money going on behind the scenes, and big money. So with the moon in Scorpio, conjunct Black Moon Lilith, by the way, at a Scorpio degree, 8 degrees, with a Scorpio midheaven and Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, conjunct the rising, again, we have a very strong Scorpio influence in the chart of the US. So continued secrets being revealed, changes to the financial system. But this time it's going to be even more out in the open with Pluto in the first house. Okay, so it's the USA is being seen, first house being seen as plutonic, changes to the money system, intensity, rapid transformation, big secrets being revealed. And what I get excited about with this, Luke, is this moon in Scorpio conjunct Black Moon Lilith, which Black Moon Lilith represents the darker side of life, very similar to Scorpio. She's a dark goddess that has to do with the shadow side, our primal nature and drives. Moon and Lilith conjunct in the 9th house of trials and the court system, in a trine to Jupiter, the ruler of trials and court systems, in the 6th house of people that are supposed to be working for the people. Virgo in the 6th house is politicians, healthcare workers, people that have charities, people that are supposedly doing something for the people, in trying to moon in Scorpio conjunct Lilith at a Scorpio degree, being exposed through public trials for what they did.
Wow.
And this is with a trine to Jupiter. So Jupiter is more than one thing. So, we've just done this series on the Diddy trial. I think within the next year, there's going to be maybe more Diddy trials. There's going to be other celebrity trials. There might be a Fauci trial. There might be political people trial. There's going to be a lot of freaking trials.
Yeah. Well, already we're seeing, that they name, I think it was 324 defendants now that are going to be charged through that fraud bust. So, that's just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg. As Q says, one arrest leads to another and another. And another thing, just to give us all, a little bit of encouragement and hope and a deadline here, is that Q also says that this is an 8-year plan, and it started in 2017. So this is 2025. This is the end of the whole thing. So I think these last 6 months, we're going to see a lot of big changes. I think, they've been laying the foundations for us to break out of all of these systems of control that they've been putting us into, and some not financial advice. Maybe pick up some foreign currencies out there, go on to X, go on and look up, get into some of these discussions. Again, not financial advice, but I've followed my own not financial advice. So, let me just tell you this. So in the early 2000s, the Iraqi dinar was something like $3.24 for a single dinar. And then what happened? 9/11 happened. We blamed Iraq. We invaded Iraq. We went in there. We bombed them. We destroyed the country. We made it so that they couldn't trade on the Forex. We just completely destroyed their economy. Completely.
Right.
I think, again, $3.20 some odd cents. And I'm a little off on that change, but $3 plus for a single dinar, down to what is now 0.00076 cents for a single dinar. So it is 1,300 dinar plus for a single dollar. So what, and Trump, he knows about this. So there's a very interesting interview where Trump is, I forget who he's being interviewed by. It's some lady on Fox or something. And she's asking him, how are we going to, you know, she's asking him, well, what's your plan for removing the troops from Iraq? Because there's still people over there. And he says, well, they're going to have to pay us for all of the infrastructure and everything that we built, it's kind of ironic, but they're going to have to pay us for all this infrastructure and everything. And she's like, well, how are they going to pay for that? And he goes, well, I don't know. We'll see. We've got $35 billion of their money sitting in an account. So, in a very Trumpian manner, we'll see, So if you think about that, if we've got $35 billion, which really is more curious to think about, is it 35 billion dinar? Or is it $35 billion worth of dinar, right? And if that were to exchange even to 1-to-1, right, then all of a sudden there's a huge influx of cash. I mean, if they've got $35 billion worth of dinar rather than just 35 billion dinar, literally, I've done the math on this, they would be able to wipe out the national debt several times over. But
my God.
We'll just have to wait and see. Again, not financial advice, but all very interesting. And just, anybody that's out there that tells you, oh, they can't change the rate, the exchange rate like that overnight. Well, in the early 2000s, they managed to do it, and it was in the opposite direction. So,
Yep.
Why couldn't it go the other way?
Why couldn't it go the other way? Very good, not financial advice.
Yeah.
We could have a podcast called Not Financial. Not Financial Advice Podcast. Love it. So yeah, of course, you guys, also very important to follow what resonates with you from you. Luke and I very much want to empower you guys to connect to your own hearts and your own intuition. We are all intuition. We are all sovereign beings. Okay. So just because someone says something doesn't mean that it's fact because they have a platform. But I do think what you're saying is right, Luke, but not financial advice. So follow it from yourselves. Anything else you want to bring up? I have a few other things, but anything else you want to bring up? Having to do with Diddy, having to do with whatever?
Let's get back to Diddy a little bit. Yeah. I do want to ask a couple questions just about Diddy to the cards, and then maybe we can go back to Bree's question there, or do a poll for that question that she had. Okay, the question, I've got a whole bunch of them, but I'm going to cherry pick here just to, trim this down. We're already at the hour mark here, but how much fallout will we see in Hollywood from this trial?
Wow, that's a good question.
I'm wondering, are other people going to go down? A lot of names came up in this trial, no matter how loosely they were related to the case itself. It was still interesting and curious that, you had people like Mike Myers and Michael B. Jordan being named like basically on day one. It was like, oh, that's interesting, So how much fallout will we see in Hollywood from this trial? Will other celebrities be face charges from this? And, are we going to see Revenge of the Diddy? Is he going to be out there with all the people that didn't show up for him that, he invited to the parties? What's that going to be like?
Okay, great question. Oh, I've got cards falling out. Whoa. Okay.
Oh boy.
Mm,
Why don't you go first? I did a longer pull on this one just to get a little more color and
yeah,
story.
that's okay. I've got 3 major arcana cards.
Oh wow.
We've again got the Magician. Sorry, you guys, I can't close up because I'm traveling and I don't have my regular setup. But the Magician, again with the 7 of Pentacles, those flew out of the deck.
Wow.
And you can't make this shit up. The Death card, dun, 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 and the
Yep.
Tower.
Oh boy.
And we know, Luke and I, we did that show the beginning of the year on LA with the whole wildfires. We took a look. You lived in LA for years. We kind of looked at the astrology and the tarot of LA, and LA being the home of Hollywood, it's looking like it's a shit show. And this is definitely feeling like with these cards, a very big trigger. It's interesting to me that these are not 2 negative cards. Like it's starting off in the poll, these are not 2 negative cards, right? Magician and 7 of Pentacles. So this is making me feel like maybe people involved are thinking that the black magic is still working, or they're thinking like, oh yeah, I've worked so hard.
Right.
I don't know if you guys ever
Yeah.
have, like, I've worked so hard. Come on, universe. I'm not going to get repercussions from this. It's like, okay, Saturn and Pluto don't give a shit how hard you've worked. If you've done something weird, you are going to get exposed in a very unexpected and destructive way.
Mm.
And interesting that like it's the Death and the Tower. I wonder if we may see some fake deaths. I wonder if we may see some people die, right? To slither away into their little reptilian holes, but they're not actually dead.
Interesting.
But justice is always served, I feel spirits say. Justice is always served on the higher levels. This is looking like it's going to be a shit show. I'm getting people are going to turn on each other, but they're feeling right now in this moment like, oh, I might get away with this. But that's not going to last.
Yeah. So I got that in the background. These people they're already losing their money. We got the 10 of Pentacles reversed. So the money has already been going down the drain. Like they've been losing their money. Right now, anybody who has, and this is a thematic card. So we got the 9 of Wands that showed up again in reverse. They've already been taking their lumps, and anybody that is associated, anybody that's already done this little deal over here, exchange that energy with Diddy. Again, the Chariot's coming for him. Coming fast, coming furious. And I think that there's a little bit of a delusion that this guy, the Knight of Wands, this is a great card, but very poorly aspected when you've got the Fool and the 7 of Cups right next to it. You got the Fool reversed and the 7 of Cups right next to it. So the guy's gonna walk off the cliff, and then you've got all this, all these this dysfunction here in all these cups. Like it's like all their secrets are gonna be spilling out. All their dirty little deeds are gonna come out, and they are going to suffer the fall. Right? The Fool can be a wonderful card when it's well aspected, but being reversed, being related to Diddy, being across from the 7 of Cups, there's going to be significant fallout from this.
Right.
Lots of little dirty things are going to be falling out, and it's like all their, like it's like when you're, somebody's vibrator goes off at the airport in their purse, and like it's like, oh my, I know the thing, right? It's good, but it's gonna be worse than that.
Right. Going to be much worse than that for sure. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think that answered the question, Luke.
Yeah.
Wild. It's crazy how the cards always come through. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I freaking love it.
Me too.
Anything else we want to ask? There was that question from Bree. Anything else we want to go before that, or just kind of finish off with that?
Let me ask one more question.
Yeah.
So which one do I want to ask here? Well, okay. So Line Mahoo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but you asked a question earlier, and I'll choose your question. I was going to ask a question about Maureen Comey, but I'll skip that one for now. We've already talked enough about her. But Line Mahoo asked, will he do any additional time, and will he survive? I definitely have that question. Like, is he going to, there was like a video of some mob guy that's like, this dude deserves a bullet in the fucking head, like, dude, like, maybe you shouldn't say that on camera, bro. Like, it was like wild. So but if you got people out there saying that type of stuff, maybe, maybe somebody's got a plan for that.
Yeah.
So let's just ask what Line Mahoo asked, which was, will he do any additional time, and will he survive?
Woo. Okay. That's a big one.
Life's bad for you when a mob boss goes on camera and talks about you like you're the scum of the earth, the devil incarnate.
Yeah.
Like,
that's very bad.
Things have not gone well for you.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, interesting. I'll go first. I'm feeling like, okay, first I've got the Lovers reversed. And this is making me feel like he's not going to be able to get laid because everyone's going to be totally freaked the fuck out that there's just been this trial. But he has like this very intense Scorpio, dark Scorpio demonic urge. That's how he gets his power. That's how he gets off, where this is a very strong need. And he hasn't been getting that the whole time he's been in jail. So there's frustration. There's major frustration, and he might act out in very not smart ways to get what he wants with people that I think the good guys may use that to their advantage. Interesting that I'm feeling, and I don't know if it exactly has to do with the question, but I'm just getting this strong sense like he's about to do something really stupid, because if he does get let out, again, interesting, that is if he does get let out, because we don't know if he's going to get let out or not, right? He's starving for energy. He's starving energetically. The Strength card upright. So we have to remember that he is a Scorpio with a Scorpio stellium. Okay, so as fucked up as he is, if he wants to be alive, he will continue to be alive, as horrible as that is. So, I mean, there's a Strength card upright. I'm getting that. I don't know if he's going to get killed off or suicided, but he's very vulnerable. Yeah, no more diddly. He's very vulnerable because he's not getting what feeds him.
Yeah. I'm getting that he's going to go away.
Okay.
So he's some sort of an agreement, some sort of political decision, some sort of partnership. I don't think that it's going to be with a woman,
Mhm.
but some sort of exchange here. And in that exchange, he's going to lose all his money. Again, Ten of
Mhm.
Pentacles, and he's going to walk away. You'll also notice we got the moon there in this card. So I don't know if he is walking away or being removed or disappearing. But
Right.
I asked for a couple of clarifiers on that. So whether or not it's, a public, let's just say leaving the earth realm,
Yeah.
or him somehow disappearing. This is kind of interesting. I got a couple of clarifiers here. So we've got the Knight of Cups here, which is, of the knights, this is kind of the weakest one. But to me, this is kind of the white hats here. So maybe he will be relinquishing control and having the Three of Wands reversed here. I think he's basically going to be locked down. Like he's going to disappear, and I'm not clear on what the agreement is going to be, but it's like, this guy right side up, he is observing things from a safe perspective. It's the beginning of a new journey, but it's not a good journey. It's not
Right.
going to be great by any means for him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be basically letting go of his empire
Mm.
in one way or another. Either he's really going to, or it's going to be fake, and he's gonna,
Yeah.
basically say, all right, well, obviously if you're dead, you don't have access to your money and your cars and your mansions anymore. So
Right.
you're living a different life at that point.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. I also pulled some clarifiers, got the Seven of Swords, which is like a getaway card, making a sneaky getaway,
Yeah.
right? Honesty,
Mhm.
betrayal, strategy, trickery,
Mm-hmm.
very, very sneaky. Ace of Wands reverse. So even though, like, yeah, he might get away, it's not in an empowered position at all.
Mm-mm.
It's not. And he might even eventually turn himself into something if he hasn't already made some kind of deal. I think that maybe there has been some kind of deal made in the background, because there's nothing to energetically feed him anymore. I mean, unless you're a man or a woman that has a major trauma response, you're not going to want to have sex with that person. That's like very weird. There's no more freak off parties. How are you going to get a bunch of people to have a freak off party now?
Right.
There's no more go. Can you go buy me some lube? Can you go buy me, 800 pack? No assistant's going to do that for you anymore.
Right.
Are you going to go down to Puerto Rico and go buy all the lube yourself every day and pay for someone that you think might not know about you, but they're going to recognize you? They're going to figure it out eventually. There's like no way out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's such a freaky, like particular kink,
Right.
that he has, for all of this, the need for all of this baby oil. Like there's something there. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't just, if it's not just a one-off thing. If you're buying that much of it, like that's your thing.
That's
You know
your
what I
thing.
mean? So.
Yikes. Oh my God. Well, very interesting times to come. And do you want to finish off, Luke, with looking at the cards with what Bree was bringing up for our
Yeah.
community, kind of a reading for our truther, freedom loving community dealing with these times, all this energy, revealing. There is frustration there, which is definitely valid. We want this to be over. We want to be on the other side of it, but it is a process for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I dropped. Yeah, I dropped. Okay.
Mm.
Wow. What are you feeling?
So, yeah, this is interesting. I got the sun in the background reversed. So the
Mhm.
boldest, brightest, strongest card in the deck, upside down for a long time. That's how things have felt, right? We've
Mhm.
felt like the sun doesn't shine on us,
Mhm.
like we felt like all of this information is still hidden and been in the darkness. But we got this again. We got this Four of Swords upside down. So what's going to happen? And I'm looking at this going, this is our normie card, right?
Mhm.
This guy's about to fall on the swords, and what's going to happen? He's going to wake up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. It's going to be painful, right?
Mm.
So our normie friends are about to wake up. They're about to fall on these swords, on these thoughts and words and information that are about to come out. We got the Page of Wands here upside down. So these people aren't going to know what to do. They are
Mm.
going to be lost. They are going to be sitting on their ass going, I don't know. I don't know if I want to believe that. I don't know if I should take that. I don't know if I should touch that. What the fuck is this hand that came out of the air and just gave me a cup? Like, I don't know that I want this thing. And they're going to be freaked out. They're like going to be, they're entering Wooville. And
Mm.
so this is going to happen very soon. We've got underneath that, we've got the 10 of cups in reverse. To me, again, this comes back to our financial card, our economic, I'm not going to call it a collapse, but whatever, the economic financial situation that gets their attention. It's going to leave them feeling upside down, and they are going to go through a gateway. This is all really making me think about Stranger Things.
Mm.
If you guys here watch Stranger Things and you've got the upside down, right? It's like, this is a gateway and they're about to go into the upside down, but we've been living in the upside down, right? We have all been living in the upside down. And this is what really finished it off for me. The Wheel of Fortune.
Oh my God.
Straight up, well aspected in just the fact that it is like things are going to be made right side up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to feel upside down, but for us, we're going to feel straight up. This whole community is going to feel, thank God. Yes, it's about time. We're going to feel energized, rejuvenated, excited.
Yeah.
And, we're going to be the ones that all of a sudden people are turning to, asking questions, because we're not going to be losing our minds.
Mm.
So I would say, Bree, just hang on a little bit longer. This is going to be a big month. So
Yes.
I think you're going to see a lot of big changes by the end of this month, and by the end of 2025, we're going to be across the finish line.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Yes. Jenny says the tide is turning. It definitely is. That's for sure. I did a little past, present, future spread for our community. And interesting, in the past, the Emperor card. So we've been in a war for a very long time. I think our whole lives. We've been in the trenches. We've been in many different kinds of wars and psychological operations. And that's been our whole past going on in the background. And right now, interesting, the 8 of Pentacles. So this guy, he's all about work-life balance, what we're putting our energy towards, hard work. And we've also got in the future, I got 3 for the future, very interesting, the 7 of Pentacles again for the 3rd time today. So there's a very big message coming through for us of being very mindful during these present times of what you are sowing, the seeds you are sowing and tending to, rather. And okay, this is kind of a weird message. Some people might not agree with this, but like I'm hearing Spirit say that sometimes we do need an escape. Sometimes we do need to do something, maybe like a vice or something to tune out and just have a little bit of a relaxation. So whether that's a glass of wine or, watching a stupid normie movie or, whatever, just being mindful that whatever you do in work, in the things that you tune out with, that it's not really, really negative, because it feels like anything positive is being amplified right now and anything negative is being amplified right now. And we are seeding energy for the future to come. It's still not totally set in stone. Not that the bad guys are going to win, but in terms of how long this is going to take, it feels like. The 7 of Cups, many illusions in the upcoming near future are going to continue to be broken and dismantled. And I feel like that's for all of us. That's not just for the normies. That's for all of us, because this is layers and layers and layers. And like, it's making me think about how about a month ago, Jens and I were watching this Tartaria documentary, and they were talking about the orphan trains and the test tube babies, and that was something that I had never heard about yet. And I had one of those weird moments where I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like it goes even crazier, like test tube babies that got brought in by trains. And some of our ancestors might be like test tube babies. So maybe not everybody, but that's a theory. It's like these crazy things. The Tower also coming up in the future. So we need to be very mindful of how we're taking care of ourselves. And it's like the South Node is in Virgo right now. So we need to let go of the perfectionism of you need to be a perfect light worker. You can never fucking have a burger and a drink or a fucking cigarette, or none of us are perfect. We need to have things where we need to have little things, is like the word that's coming through is escape, but maybe there's a better word. You need to have things to let yourself in a healthy way just like disconnect from whatever's going on, like have a normie moment. And you're not a normie. It's not about going back into normie land, but the balance. 8 of Pentacles, doing a balance between I am completely, like keeping it all together and I'm working really hard and I'm researching this thing, and then moments where maybe you're just not and you're doing something stupid or you're being really silly, not necessarily in a negative way. I hope that makes sense how I'm saying that, because this is a continuation. This is a continuation. This is not over yet. We've got the 7 of Cups with the Tower. So Tower moments of crazy ass information continuing to be revealed. And also in the future, there's 3 future cards, 7 of Pentacles. So what you're doing now, by the end of the year, you're going to look back on 7 of Pentacles. That he's come up 3 times today. Are you going to want to look back? Are you going to be happy with looking back at what you're doing now? So this is it feels like very much about mindfulness, and be gentle with yourself Also, like, okay, and I am a Scorpio, so I'm very intense. Like sometimes I'll stay up until 3 in the morning watching like Alex Jones or like something really crazy and I can't go to sleep. And it's like, maybe I could have just watched something dumb, something mindless just for an hour, just to have that escape of like regulating my nervous system, of not always being completely on, because it is intense, you guys. And it is going to continue to be intense for a little while. We're very much at, I think, the height of this right now. Yeah, John says, let some steam off.
Yeah, and when you had that 7, sorry, I don't mean to step on your BB there. When you had that 7 of cups there, I was getting that those 7 cups, and we're in the 7th month now, all the shit that's in those cups is what we're going to see happen throughout this month.
Right.
We're going to be seeing all of that stuff spill out of the cups and, you know, dealing with it. And I mean, for me, I feel very excited to just kind of sit back and, you know, watch that stuff bubble up and sort of then watch normies, you know, have these discussions and watch that come out, because, you know, we've all been having these conversations for a long time, and it'll be refreshing to hear new people and new voices suddenly be asking, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Exactly. Very, very well said. Sometimes lately I haven't been able to speak clearly. Carol in the chat says, karma is bigger than jail time. Diddy should have took his lumps and put his ass in jail. The karma of lifetimes that Diddy going to have to balance. It would have been better to do that time now. Yep, Carol, I think you are right on. Gemma says, you two look like brother and sister, other lifetimes. Interesting. Yes, I think we maybe have been brother and sister in another life. Karen says, I'm grateful to have found your channel and both of you during these times. Well, thank you, Karen. We're very grateful for you and everyone in our community here. And this is going to be a continuation, you guys, as we're getting the 7 of Cups and the Tower in the future. So please take care of yourselves out there. Be gentle with yourselves. July, definitely, this is going to be a month. Maybe we're going to have to do a check-in, Luke, or some point at some point in the month, because definitely I think we're going to have huge things coming up this month for sure. And you guys can go find Luke's amazing book, Confessions of a Conspiracy Theorist. Don't forget to take your red pills over on Amazon. It's absolutely amazing. I've read the whole thing, and I love how you weave your personal journey. It's very personal to, you know, the whole conspiracy truther information. So it's like story of your life with all the information you're backing it up of why you're believing what you believe in this moment, what's resonating with you.
Thank you.
And yeah, you can find JDK says, what sign is Luke?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, you said it. Okay. Yeah, I was.
Well, you want to guess my rising sign?
Yeah. So yeah, guess Luke's rise. Can they also guess your moon? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, what do you think is Luke's moon and rising signs? He's a Capricorn. What do you think? Laura says Leo.
Not a Leo.
Not a Leo. John, another Capricorn. Nope.
Not a
Although
Capricorn.
you do have a lot of Capricorn.
I do. I have a lot of Capricorn.
Leo rising. No. Daisy strength Sag.
That is my moon sign.
That's your moon sign. Saggy Waggy.
Not Cancer.
Not Cancer. Libra, no. Aries, no. Not Cancer. Jan Emily, Scorpio.
We're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, we're going to get there. There's some other signs. Sometimes it's hard to guess the rising versus the sun sign. Virgo, absolutely not.
Give them a hit. Should we give him a hint?
Yeah, you can give him a hint.
It's the same as Meg's rising sign. If you know Meg.
Does anybody know mine? Wow, a lot of Aries. That's interesting.
Actually, you know what? There's something to that. And I'll tell you why in a second. There it is, Sister Nobody.
There it is. Yay. Woohoo.
And I am a Taurus rising right at the beginning degrees, like right. If you look at where Aries is, I mean, it's right there. Aries, Taurus cusp.
Wow.
And yeah, all in the same houses and everything. So, yeah, there's definitely my North Node is in the Aries house. So,
wow, love
definitely,
it. Very, very
I like to read Aries stuff too.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, we've both got Aries in the 12th house. So interesting. Sister Nobody, luxury loving. It's my South Node. Luke, have you always liked kind of nice food, nicer thing? Has that been your whole life, or did that happen for you at a certain age?
I think, you know, as I've gotten older, I've definitely like gotten more. I've just sort of accepted like, yeah, you know what? I really do like to be comfortable. Like, I really enjoy the creature comforts, you know, like a really good pillow and just really good food and just chilling at home. You know, it's like I'm at the point where like, yeah, I'm not really trying to go out to the party. I don't want to go to where there's going to be 50 people. You know, I'd rather have like a really good meal at home than go out and have a bunch of drinks at a club with a bunch of people and, you know, spend a bunch of money. I'd rather spend a bunch of money on like one really good meal than, you know, just like a night out partying, having a wild time or whatever. So
yeah, definitely. Before my first Saturn return, I was like, I don't give a shit about nicer things. I don't want, like, I went complete opposite. It's so weird. I don't know why that is. I should probably ask my astrology teacher. But as soon as my Saturn return came, I was like, actually, I do want nice things. Actually, I do like the nice sheets. Actually, yes, I'm Taurus rising. Like, I don't know why. So weird. Well, Taurus is also, you know, the voice. Right. So you and I were both performers as well in different ways. So we both, since an early age, have like used our voice. We've, you know, for you with the acting and speaking and having to speak clearly, Taurus with the voice, and for me with the singing. So it's always been activated, but funny with the nice stuff. Maybe it comes with getting older a little bit too.
You know, with me, with the voice, I have no air in my chart, none.
Wow.
So I'm all earth, fire, and water. And I've got some really good aspects in there, but I have zero air. And, you know, that for me manifested in my younger years as like not really speaking up for myself or speaking my truth. Right. And it became something that I really had to step into and be like, you know what, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to stop silencing myself. And, you know, I had to find that resource from another place in order to, you know, really use my voice. But
wow, that's super, super interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Sister Nobody, also no air either. Very, very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So also want to say before we finish up that I've got my astrocartography workshop part 2 coming up. The link is in the description box of this video under my link tree. We've got Luke's and my link trees in the description. So if you'd like to go deeper into locational astrology with me, I'm very excited to share that with you guys. And the part 1 link is also in my link tree for that. We had lots of fun with the part 1. I think it was in April, the beginner's guide to astrocartography as well. So, okay, until next time, Luke, thank you so much for doing this series with me. And I look forward to doing much more in the future as well. And we'll keep you
Absolutely.
guys posted with Diddy if there's anything really, important that comes.
Absolutely. And I'll just say, I'm really enjoying astrocartography part 1. Actually, Grace and I have been looking at, our charts and figuring out places that we want to go based on, the lines and stuff. So it's really cool. Yeah, definitely recommend it. I'm going to check it out.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you and Grace. Thank you guys for your positive comments as well. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channels. And we will see you guys on the other side of this crazy ass P. Diddy trial. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.